Welcome to my channel. I'm sdkelley. In this video, I'm really happy to bring to you 5 DIYs for spring and Easter. To see more of my DIY videos, take a second to hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified every time that I upload something new. For this first DIY, we're going to be making a bird's nest. Here I am just taking some scrap pieces of jute string and some twigs that came off this grapevine basket that I recently made and uploaded in a video. I'm also throwing in a little bit of moss, and I'm going to top it off with what was left over from my grapevine basket project. I am just shaping it all to fit inside this bowl. I was intentionally sloppy in making it so that it might resemble something more like you would find out in nature. I made these eggs from Crayola dough, which is like a Play-Doh that you can get from Dollar Tree. And I worked with it like air dry clay. I just rolled them into balls about the same amount approximately. I narrowed one side of the eggs down to make them more of an oval shape. As they dried, they formed surface cracks, which is great because it looks like they're hatching. And of course, I just added some decorative, realistic looking birds to it. They just simply clip on. So I'm taking this arrow picture that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just tracing it on the back of this wood flooring tile. It's actually not real wood, it's laminate wood that I got for 98 cents per 4 feet. So it's a really good deal for wood-like type projects. And I'm just scoring it to break the pieces off. This is actually left over from a previous DIY where I made over a table, and I'll provide the link to that. I wanted this to be more like a woodlands themed type of sign that points in the direction of an Easter egg hunt. I'm just using an X-Acto utility knife to score the pieces far enough so that they cleanly break off. The bigger the pieces, the easier they are to break off, and they break off pretty cleanly. So all I had to do is just peel and stick, and I'm going to use some hot glue because the sign will be vertical. It won't be on the floor, so I don't know how long the adhesive would hold up on its own. Now just cleaning it up a little bit. These pieces were of course a lot smaller, so they weren't just going to simply break off after scoring them. I had to go back in and cut again until I could eventually just slice them off like you're seeing here. I'm not planning on hanging this up. I'm going to glue it to a stick actually. But of course, that is an option available to you. I'm trying out this white Sharpie marker that came in a package with something else that I had ordered. I had ordered some chalkboard paper, and this came as a bonus gift. So I'm just trying it out on here. I'm just handwriting this sign on here and hand drawing it. I like to start my letters where the middle, where I think they'll end up if it was done right, and I like to work my way out. I don't really like this marker that much. It wants to put out a lot of paint at once or none at all, so I had to keep going back and forth to finish this project. I think I'll just stick to regular chalk or chalk paint from now on. I will say I was able to easily go back and straighten it up a little bit and clean it up a little bit with some fingernail polish remover on a Q-tip. What sort of experience do you have using these kind of markers? I don't seem to have a very good time with them. Well, you may recognize that piece that I'm using to hold up the sign. It was from the thrift store haul that I did recently, and I actually did find a use for it. So this DIY starts out pretty basic. I take an ordinary small mason jar from the Dollar Tree, and I tied some jute twine around the top, some brown and then some green, and then of course attached a bow to it. I then attached it with E6000 and hot glue to a candlestick that I had painted with ivory colored chalk paint. And I had filled it with some eggs that were from Dollar Tree. They were covered in glitter, but I just painted over them, glitter and all. And some of the original color of the glitter did show through to give it like a tint of different colors, but they covered very well in different colors with the chalk paint that made it look a little more neutral and rustic. What I did differently, though, is that I added a knob to the top. I took some drawer knobs that I've had for a while in my hardware stash. I replaced the bolt on it so that it would fit through the lid, so that the screw would go all the way down to inside the knob. There's some other information about the size drill bit you would need and the size of this bolt. I drilled a hole in a mason jar lid insert that I painted the same color as the candlestick holder and knob, and I added the 4 wooden circles to the inside of the lid to keep it from sliding sideways off the jar, but you can also glue a string around the inside of the lid as well.
You can follow me and tag me with related content on Instagram. My profile name there is Saggycat, after a sweet cat named Sagittarius.
Here I took a Dollar Tree picture frame of a mirror, and I took the mirror and the backing out, and I'm going around this white frame and just antiquing it up a bit. I'm putting in some brown and black paint in some of the crevices, and then dry brushing a little bit over the surface areas. I'm also buffing out some of the surface areas that got a little bit too much coverage with the black or brown paint. And really, I couldn't tell you specifically how to put the brown and black paint. It's something that you play by ear. It's something that you do according to your own taste and if you think it looks good to you. But basically, it's just filling in some of the crevices and then darkening some of the surface areas, but not all. Besides, it's just paint. If it looks like crap, you can always go back and paint over it, at least for a few times anyway. And I'm just going over it now with some copper paint that I have. This is the kind of paint that I use to paint some of my jewelry pieces with. It's actually like a paint enamel that you would use to paint like model cars and things like that, but it works very well for small jewelry products. So I designed the sign on my Adobe Photoshop software, and then I just used some antique wax by Waverly and smeared it on there to give it a more aged look. Occasionally I like to give away my graphic designs for free, so I have uploaded this one and I'll provide a direct link to it, and all you have to do is just right click on it. Once you right click and save, you can print it. Just make sure that your printer settings have this to print to the size that you want it to be. This is just a 5x7 one here. This beautiful vintage looking cardstock at Michael's, and I want to Mod Podge it to this LED pillar candle from Dollar Tree. Here I'm just deciding what I would like to be on the candle and then measuring and cutting it. It's a good idea to make sure that the length and width of the cardstock paper you use exceeds the length and width of the candle just by a little bit. This is just a semi-gloss type of Mod Podge that I got from Walmart. I know that Dollar Tree also carries Mod Podge in matte and in glossy. I'm putting this on fairly thin, and I'm putting it directly on the paper because the paper is fairly thick. You know that saying, if at first you don't succeed? Well, it took me 3 tries to get this straight. I actually ended up applying more Mod Podge just right on the candle to get it to go around. And then I sealed it, everything was fine, but if this was tissue paper, I would have been in trouble. Now I'm just bending down the top, and I'm taking an X-Acto knife and just put a slit in there where air pocket had formed, and then just Mod Podged over and pressed it out. You can't even see it anymore. The Mod Podge had dried rather quickly because I had used such a thin coat, and now I'm just going back over the surface of the cardstock to seal everything in. I decided to add a ring of moss around the bottom of this candle, and I'm taking a moss strip that I've made by gluing some moss to a piece of duct tape that was folded over. And I'm just going to glue it around. It didn't reach all the way around, so I had to sort of improvise. And you'll see what I mean in a second. I started putting the moss strip on at the front and center so that it would come around to the back. So that's why I cut that last piece in half. So if I couldn't get it all the way covered, at least it would be in the very back that it was bare. I took a mason jar that is short with a wide lid, and I spray painted it with a satin olive and sage green. I went back and forth between the two greens to give it kind of a various gradient effect throughout. And then I covered it in some antique wax and wrapped some twine around the top. I distressed it a little bit to make the coloring uneven. And then I glued a lid insert to the top to work as a candle holder plate. I glued a magnet to the bottom of the candle so it will stay in place. So here are the 5 projects we just made in this video. And I really like the way they turned out. I would say my favorite one is this pillar candle right here because I just think it turned out really beautiful, and I feel like I could leave it up all year long. I hope you'll leave me a comment and let me know which one was your favorite one.
Once again, I am sdkelley, and I hope that you enjoyed this video and give it a big thumbs up if you did. Also, I hope you will subscribe to my channel because I have many more great ideas to share with you. If you're interested in following me on social media or contacting me, I'll put those links in the description below. I thank you for watching, and bye for now.